Hey guys, welcome back to Mojo Homestead, where for this morning I am by myself. Cass is off at a work obligation, but she will be back. She will be helping me today. We've got several things that we really want and need to get done today, mainly in the garden. Right now, I'm going to feed the pigs and the cat and the chickens, and then go check on the goats. But we are officially, ooh, found a rogue chicken here. You know, spotter. All right. There's also another one singing an egg song. I may have to go investigate that. But anyway, we are like officially in pollen season. It has gotten really, really bad around here. Thankfully, we got some rain yesterday that's kind of knocked it down a little bit, but I mean, it's right back all up in the air today. It's the pine pollen around here that's so bad, guys. Like, it just covers everything. Turns it all yellow or green or however you see that color. I see it as yellow. Some people have described it as green. But either way, it's everywhere. It gets in your lungs. It's just ready for it to get out of here. But it is the telltale sign that spring is here. And that is exciting. So one thing that I did notice the other day that makes me very happy is that the pigs have figured out the water. At least one of them has. When I saw them, the other one was just kind of like standing under the one who figured it out and was just drinking everything that dripped down. Now that one may have figured it out. It may have just been taking advantage of the excess water dripping down. But as long as one of them figured it out, I'm happy. I'm glad. I know that they're getting sufficient water and I don't have to worry about it anymore. An earlier video I was talking about, they were having a really hard time figuring it out and it had me a little bit concerned, but no more concerns now. All right, guys, last thing for morning chores is letting these mamas and babies out. So we have been keeping them locked up at night, mainly just, hang on, let me get in here. Ooh. Hey, mama. Hey. Hey. Everybody except for Elsa's because they are bigger. Oh, look, there they are. Aren't they so cute, guys? Precious. So they have been staying out at night. She does a pretty good job of bunkering them down and hiding them, and we're not too concerned about it. But oh, look at them. We are having to really work with them because she had them during the week when we couldn't really be around that day. And they're kind of more of your traditional, like stereotypical dam raised babies, but they're coming around. They're coming around. The more time we come out here, spend time with them. These other 4 babies are great. They don't run from us. They don't necessarily come running up to us, but one of them actually kind of, you have to watch because she will get underfoot. Esther's, this little cute black and white one back here. She is so precious. Loves being right there with us and everything. So I'm going to let these girls out. Frost, we're actually going to let her out for the first time today. We've been keeping her in here. She has not been out since she had her babies. If you guys saw that video, it was the last one that went up. She did choose to have her babies out in the pen. She did not come into her little stall, which they all have their own stalls. And I'm really surprised because the day before, even that morning, she was spending a lot of time in there. So I thought she would just naturally go in there, but she did not. So we moved her and the babies in there. They've been locked up since Thursday, so for 2 days. So we're going to let her out today just to kind of have freedom, let those babies out for the first time, and they're going to have so much fun playing. Our kids are going to be out later playing and spending lots of time with these babies. The reason we keep them locked up for those first 2 days is just to ensure that they're getting that bonding time and connecting. And we also want to be able to watch and make sure that mama's feeding the babies and all of that stuff and giving them the attention they need. When they're out in the pen and have all of that room, then they're not always together. And you kind of have to catch them when the mom's feeding them to make sure that that's happening and everything. So it just makes it a little bit easier and ensures that we're having success with that bonding time. So I'm going to let them out and then we're going to get working in the garden. You going to come out? She's such a good mama. She's so hesitant. Keeping an eye on them, making sure, I don't know, do I want to come out? Good girl. All right, guys, first garden task is I've got to start replacing some of our grapes because they just have not made it. So I got this guy, that guy, at just Tractor Supply. It is actually a muscadine. All of ours that we've had were just normal like grape types, which I knew this when we planted them, but they can be a little bit more difficult growing in South Carolina with our humidity and stuff. And so as they struggle or die off, I want to replace them with like muscadine varieties. I've got to figure out which one I am going to replace. I think it is going to be, yeah, I think we had one over here, I think, which that vine's completely gone. So I think I'm going to place it there and see. This one next to it does look like it's kind of struggling. We're going to see how it comes back. This one over here next to it is definitely struggling, and I'm not even sure it is going to come back this year. So we're going to see. We've gotten some pretty good years out of these. I hate to see them go. They really were some good grapes, but I think that it's just kind of that humidity and everything else. Every year we lose a little bit more of the vine. So it's one of those things like, yeah, it would be really nice to be able to have, but at the same time, if it's not going to perform well, then go with a different option. I always say nature's going to do what it wants to do. You might as well just comply with it and take whatever it gives you. So the only muscadines I've really ever had were the ones that grow in the wild. We've got them in our woods. If you're not familiar with them, they're kind of a, I would say like a musky kind of flavor, sort of dry and a little bit sweet. Now these cultivated ones are sweeter, and all the wild muscadines and scuppernons, they are different but very similar, do have slip skins, which means like the fruit inside, the pulp inside just slips right out. The skin is not really edible or palatable. You can eat it. It's not bad for you or anything. It's just really tough. This one advertises as an edible skin. So I think it's a softer skin, which, you know, will be nice. Also, to my knowledge, all muscadines do have seeds. If I'm wrong on that, somebody correct me. But I think that they're all going to have the seeds in them. So you do have to deal with that. Personally, I can't stand that. But most of the grapes we can grow here are not going to be seedless. The other reason why these do so much better is because they are actually our native grape. They're used to this area. They're used to the humidity and all of that. This first year with any grapes, you're basically just training that vertical stem up. And then second year, we're going to focus on the cordons, which are the ones that run out horizontally. And then the third year is when we should be able to keep a couple clusters on there and be able to get them. So kind of like fruit trees, grapes are an investment of time, and you want to get them in early in the process because it is going to be a minimum of 3 years before you actually are able to start harvesting fruit off of them. All right, next up on the list are the cabbages. We're going to get those harvested, and I think that's really all of the brassicas that are left. Most of these I'm going to go ahead and harvest. Some of them are still pretty small. I'll give them longer to see if they will recover, but I'm really disappointed, guys. If you saw the video that we did last weekend, the mini garden tour, that really big cabbage, something got in here. I think it was a rabbit, which we've never had issues with rabbits getting to our garden, and ate like a whole section out of it. I was so mad. But we were able to salvage it. I went ahead and picked that one last night. It was huge. It had gotten really big in the last week. But I'm going to get the rest of these out so that we can protect them and not have any more losses to the wildlife. Now, the section that we're expanding, the one behind me, that fence is just kind of temporarily put up. So a rabbit could have easily gotten in underneath that. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that something got in here. But again, I don't want that to come back. And I don't want them, whatever it was, to get in the habit of coming in here and having free reign of a buffet. So we're going to get all the food out of here. Okay, so my other suspicion, other than a rabbit, was maybe that it got too much water because we've gotten a ton of rain over the last week, just a lot at one time, and it split. Now, I've never heard of a cabbage doing that. I'm not here to claim that I'm a cabbage expert. Maybe that's a common thing, but this one is kind of doing the same thing, and nothing ate on that one. I mean, this is just like pulling apart. So I think what may have happened is it just put off a ton of growth and the leaves didn't expand and it split, because I was questioning that. But the fact that this one is clearly just splitting, now I'm wondering if that big one maybe did the same thing and we still have the full thing of cabbage and didn't lose any.
Okay guys, so we are kind of late on planting potatoes, but we're going to plant them anyway. I really prefer to plant potatoes in a raised bed. We won't plant our sweet potatoes in the raised bed, but we are going to plant these potatoes in these raised beds. It's just a lot easier to find them, and also they have all this loose soil, so it really allows us to get a better harvest. So we are going to plant some Yukon Gold, some Adirondack Blue, and some Cannabec. I don't know if we've ever planted Cannabec before, but it's another like yellow potato, and it looks like it has a thinner skin, which is good for like roasting. These need to be planted like 4 to 6 inches deep, and so I'm kind of just trying to make a little bit of a trench. I like to kind of know where I planted them, just so it is easier to locate them if I remember. Typically, you cut them and dry them before you plant them. That just helps you get more seed potatoes. We don't have time to do that, and they're already sprouting. So we're just going to go ahead and plant the whole potato and see what we end up harvesting. So these potatoes are all determinate, which means they only yield a determined amount. So this type of potato, a determinate, you don't mound up. Often you'll see where people, put them on the ground, put soil over them, and then later they'll have to go mound some more soil on top of it. These determinate potatoes do not require that. So we got our potatoes in the ground. So that's good. We made it. A little late, but we made it. And several things done in the garden. So that was nice. I'm excited to use my raised bed in the greenhouse.
Yeah, it's getting used.
Yeah.
Because the greenhouse isn't done.
Right. But we can plant in it for the summer. So that's awesome.
We can. I'm just excited to start getting stuff in the ground and stuff out of the ground.
Yes.
Like this transition period. And
yeah.
Also like starting to implement, I don't know if you guys can see behind us, but starting to implement a lot of those new layouts.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what it looks like when we're done, like when he's done laying it out, but also what it will look like when we have it full.
Yes. So exciting.
I'm a little distracted because the baby goats are all out and they're drinking and they're playing and they're enjoying the spring weather, I think, just as much as we are. But let's go ahead and do highs and lows.
All right, so my high is obviously Frost giving birth. Yeah. Frost is my favorite goat, guys. Like, she's my baby. I don't know why. You know, sometimes an animal just like speaks to you. And when she was little, like that was it.
Yeah.
It was like, this is mine. I would travel with her.
Yes, he would.
When I would run errands,
Yes,
I would
he
have her
would.
in tote.
Yes, he would.
I'm not going to promise that that's not going to happen with her baby.
It is a very beautiful baby.
It is. It is.
She is sweet and she is beautiful.
But yes, definitely that was my high for sure.
Yeah.
My low, I don't know that I really had a low this week. I can't really think of anything that was a low. Overall, it was a really good week. And so,
yeah. My high was definitely that we got to be there for Frost's delivery. We had missed the other goats going into labor. We just walked in and saw babies, so it was fun to be there. My other high is all these babies that are in the goat pen that are just jumping around and playing and, you know, learning how to
be goats.
Be goats. Yeah, they're just like having so much fun in there. So that is another high for sure. My low is probably like I have this weird like tickle cough. It's real weird. So like my throat will all of a sudden like I'll be talking, like having normal conversation, and it'll get a little tickle and then I'll have to cough. And it feels a little weird.
Maybe it's the pollen. We'll chalk it up to that because pollen's going to be out of here hopefully semi soon.
Yeah. But. Yeah. So that's my low. That was it.
Okay. We would love to hear what you guys are doing in your garden this time of year, this transition period from kind of the winter garden into spring, summer gardening.
Yeah.
That stuff just makes me happy.
Yeah. If you are enjoying this content, please like it. You can help us out by liking it and sharing it and all of the things. We have several videos planned for next week. One of them is a greenhouse update.
Good or bad, you'll have to wait and see.
Yes, you will. So be sure you are subscribed and you are getting the notifications when we have a new video up. But that's all we have for you today. We hope you have a great week and be blessed.